What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to MKE MANIACI, and today we got 10 times WWE went out of their way to mock you, us fans. They insult our intelligence. They play in to the dirt sheets. They even taunt the dirt sheets at times, man. Just when we thought, as fans, we got it all figured out, WWE hit us with some swindles. They'll swindle us, man. So we're gonna check out 10 times when they did that. We ain't doing no more talking. Let's get it.
Throughout WWE history, they've been known to mock their loyal fans. They've either mocked them by booking insulting and illogical storylines, or sometimes they have outright berated fans on WWE TV. The latter of these usually comes following a poorly received show, and WWE will do anything in their power to make it seem like it's the fans' fault that they didn't enjoy a particular show. Join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 times WWE mocked the fans.
That'd be always hard, man.
Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, WrestleMania Shorts. Number 10, Triple H mocks fantasy bookers on Raw 2004. At WWE's inaugural Taboo Tuesday pay-per-view in 2004 was a big deal. They allowed fans to vote on match stipulations and even which wrestlers would receive title shots.
They need to bring, whether it's Taboo Tuesday or Cyber Sunday, bring it back. I actually really like this concept. Especially today with social media, you can vote on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, man. It's so much more I don't know, man. I feel like they should definitely bring it back.
To promote the pay-per-view, the then world champion Triple H cut a promo on the October 4th, 2004 edition of Raw, and during this, the game took several digs at the fans, particularly those who enjoy fantasy booking. Triple H stated that WWE shouldn't be relying on fans booking the pay-per-view, as they can't be trusted to make competent and sensible decisions.
Boy, that's very ironic, because now Triple H, some would argue, he does listen to the fans now. He gives us what we want for the most part, yeah.
The game would even point to specific fans in the crowd and ask why on earth WWE were giving fans any booking power at all. Whilst the promo did its job in terms of promoting the pay-per-view event, it's clear that the WWE were directly mocking the fans with the words of the game. Number 9, The Big Show adopts Daniel Bryan's gimmick. When Daniel Bryan's popularity skyrocketed in late 2013, WWE had no plans to make Bryan the #1 guy in the company. Bryan wasn't exactly what the WWE were looking for in their top star, so they had an idea that would transfer Bryan's immensely popularity to, The Big Show. In one of the most backwards moves possible, WWE decided to have the Big Show do the yes chant. They clearly believed that it was Bryan's yes chant that was over rather than Bryan himself, and it was insulting that they believed that the fans were this dumb. A portion of the fan base believed that WWE were mocking them, and this was the WWE's way of telling the fans that there was no way that Bryan was going to be the top star in the company.
It's so weird that they thought the chant itself was better than Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan's case is one of the very rare cases that the fans made the company make the guy, even though Bryan got injured. But this is one of the rare times that the fans had more pull than Vince in creative. You couldn't deny Daniel Bryan's momentum. You couldn't deny it. But for them to really be that oblivious to the fact of maybe Daniel Bryan is actually over, and it's not just the chant.
Ultimately, WWE massively misunderstood their fan base, and the fans rejected the Big Show's ascension to the top of the card, and fans continued to support Bryan all the way to the main event of WrestleMania 30. Number 8, Stephanie McMahon is over the CM Punk chant. In the years following CM Punk's WWE departure, it was common practice for WWE fans to heckle segments with CM Punk chants. These chants traditionally surface when fans disliked a particular segment or match.
Are you saying Cena sucks?
But over the years, they managed to outright mock fans who decided to chant for the former WWE champion. One of the most infamous times they did this was in 2016 when Stephanie McMahon was cutting a promo on Raw. She was naturally heckled by CM Punk chants. McMahon would then respond to the chants by saying, "So if you guys could keep that up for about 2 minutes and 15 seconds, you'd last 1 second longer than Punk did." This was a reference to Punk's UFC debut where he lost in 2 minutes. Whilst McMahon was outright mocking the fans and Punk with her comments, it did surprisingly get the crowd to stop chanting for Punk. Number 7.
I've been to a lot of shows, since Punk left, and we don't really, unless you're in Chicago, but I don't really hear the Punk chants that much anymore.
Punk with a comment, it did surprisingly get the crowd to stop chanting for Punk. Number 7. Stephanie McMahon calls the fans losers. Speaking of Stephanie McMahon mocking the fans, the 2016 incident wouldn't be the only time in which McMahon owned the fans. During a segment on Raw in 2017, the Chicago crowd were heckling everyone in the ring with chants towards Punk, and McMahon had a brilliant response to them. McMahon would call out the crowd's predictability, and she would go on to state how the crowd were all losers, just like Punk. This was an unscripted remark from McMahon, and even Mick Foley, who was in the ring at the time, couldn't help but laugh at how ruthless McMahon was. Number 6. John Cena's heel turn.
My God.
One of the criticisms directed at WWE's booking of John Cena during his time as a full-time star was that his character was stale. This led to a strong portion of the WWE fanbase trying to convince WWE to turn Cena heel, but sadly this never materialized. Nevertheless, on Raw after WrestleMania 29, Cena hilariously decided to mock the fans who wanted to see him turn heel. Cena was booed throughout his promo, but when Cena said, "How about a heel turn?" and literally turned the heel on his foot, the crowd erupted. This was the WWE's way of directly mocking the fans for wishing Cena to turn to the dark side, and it was one of the main talking points following the newsworthy show.
Now, I remember the weeks leading up to WrestleMania 29, like everybody, even myself, I'm like, man, Cena gotta turn heel. Like, he has to turn heel. I mean, this is the guy, The Rock beat him last year at WrestleMania. His life went into a spiral. He got a divorce. He lost every match. Like, he gotta turn heel. Just beat the hell out of The Rock. It's like he's been babyface for so long. And I remember, like, leading up to WrestleMania 28, it was always, the rivalries that Cena were in, like the rivalry with Kane. They kind of hinted at, like, maybe they would turn John Cena heel, but, it turned out, like, bro never turned heel. Since becoming WWE champion, Cena never went back to being the bad guy, ever. And I actually give credit to them. And I think they kind of wanted to do that with Roman, but they kind of had no choice with Roman. And Roman's doing better now than he would have did as a babyface.
Number 5, the literal push of Zack Ryder.
Getting pushed off the
Thanks
stage,
to his acclaimed YouTube show, Zack Ryder had managed to build up an organic connection with the audience. Ryder was incredibly charismatic, and before WWE knew it, fans began to chant for Ryder during the main event matches, and there was a strong desire to see Ryder pushed up the card.
Ryder was so over in 2011, it was crazy.
WWE would indeed push Ryder, but it wasn't exactly what fans had in mind. Ryder would be a key figure in the bizarre.
We'll give him a push, all right. Yo, why am I so late on that? I didn't understand it at
feud
first.
Between Kane and John Cena, and by the time the feud was over, Ryder had lost his credibility and even lost his girlfriend Eve Therese. Ryder was made out to be an incompetent individual who couldn't handle himself, and they knew exactly what they were doing by this dire presentation of the former tag champion. They would even air a segment which saw Kane push a wheelchair-bound Ryder off the stage, and this was the point in which fans had had enough and realized that WWE had no intention of pushing Ryder in a serious manner. It was like Vince McMahon was laughing at the fans, and he and the company were doing everything in their power to show fans why Ryder wasn't a guy that they should care about. Number 4, Roman.
I actually liked Zack Ryder at that time, though. It was the Survivor Series was in New York. Yeah, he was so over, like that latter end of 2011. Yeah, he was well over, but it's just the timing of everything at that time leading up to WrestleMania 28. There was really no, you had Cena, Rock. We were obviously getting Jericho and Punk. It was really no what were you really gonna do with Zack Ryder? And personally, you could have changed up his character. What he's doing nowadays, if the fans had that reaction to this character in WWE, maybe they would have pushed him to the top. But, he was just the internet guy. He wasn't really like a serious threat to any major championship run. I sound like Vince.
Power to show fans why Ryder wasn't a guy that they should care about. Number 4, Roman Reigns is number 30. The 2017 Royal Rumble match had a ton of star power. The match featured the likes of The Undertaker, Goldberg, Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar, and fans expected someone huge for the number 30 spot. However, when the number 30 entrant eventually surfaced, it turned out to be Roman Reigns. There were a number of issues with Reigns entering the match at this prestigious spot. The main issue was that Reigns had already wrestled in a world title match on the show, so fans were asking why Reigns was now suddenly awarded with the number 30 spot in the Rumble. The second issue was that it was evident that WWE were trolling and mocking the fans with this booking decision. They knew that fans would loathe Reigns being in the number 30 spot, but they just didn't care. They seemingly wanted a cheap laugh at the expense of the fan base. Number 3, the higher power.
It's me,
One
Austin.
of the most well-known storylines of the Attitude Era was the higher power storyline arc. This story focused on The Undertaker taking orders from a sinister and mysterious individual, and this would later turn out to be Vince McMahon. This made no sense, as The Undertaker was previously making McMahon's life a living hell, so it was a clear example of incompetent and lazy writing. This revelation mocked the fans, as it directly punished those who were invested in the storyline for months on end, and it was an insult to those who had decided to firmly side with WWE in the ongoing Monday Night Wars.
That storyline was the prime example of Vince pretty much saying, we can make anything look like money, and you all are going to tune in for it now.
It's an insult to those who had decided to firmly side with WWE in the ongoing Monday Night Wars. Number 2, my friend Mark. A Battleground in 2014 was a relatively lackluster show, and following the pay-per-view, fans took to social media to express their disappointment. This fan backlash didn't sit well with WWE, as Triple H cut a promo on the next night of Raw that completely berated the fan base. Triple H would pretend to be a disgruntled fan by stating that he's very mad and he's gonna tweet his displeasure. The game then stated that if he doesn't get what he wants, he and his friend Mark are gonna stop watching wrestling. This promo received a ton of criticism online, as it showed a lack of accountability. Instead of putting on a tremendous edition of Raw, WWE just responded to the criticism by laughing and insulting the paying audience. It wasn't a good look in the slightest.
I mean, that wasn't the first time, and it damn sure wasn't the last time they did something like this. You know, at the end of the day, you know, the WWE is gonna do what they want to do, regardless. You know, no matter what the internet says, what the internet wrestling community says, they're gonna do what they want to do. It's just simple as that.
And number 1, Paul Heyman comes out to CM Punk's music. CM Punk's WWE walkout was the main talking point in 2014, but in early March of that year, it did seem like there was hope that WWE and Punk would
This was the ultimate troll, because they were in Chicago, I think, when this happened.
Make amends. There were internet rumors that Punk was going to return on the 3rd March 2014 edition of Raw, which just so happened to be emanating from Chicago. The show, to the joy of thousands of fans, opened up with cult of
Yo, I need to rewatch this. I'm gonna get on Peacock. I got the TV right there. After I'm done with this, I gotta rewatch that segment. I forgot all about this.
Personality playing, and for a brief moment, everyone believed that Punk was actually back. However, when Paul Heyman walked out, fans quickly realized that Heyman and WWE had completely trolled everyone. Punk wasn't returning, and WWE had used the Punk rumors to further a brand new storyline between Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. Heyman would sit in the middle of the ring positively discussing Punk before cutting one of the best promos of his career, in which he sold Lesnar versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 30.
It's bringing back memories, because at this time I was in college. I was in my dorm watching this. And I just remember when I heard Punk's music, I'm like, oh shit. And then I saw Paul. My freaking heart went into my stomach. I'm like, come on. Like, I couldn't believe they did that.
It was the biggest match of all time. Yes, WWE were mocking the fan base, and yes, they took full advantage of the rumors surrounding Punk, but it made for a truly memorable segment that is still discussed to this very day. But there you have it, folks. 10 times.
10 times WWE went out their way to mock the fans, man. I'm pretty sure you could probably make this into like a multiple series video, man. But link down below in the description leads you right to this video for y'all to check it out in its entirety with no interruptions. Y'all new to the channel, y'all rock with me. Want more wrestling related content, hit that subscribe button for me. And until the next video, I will see you then. Thank you for watching MKE MANIACI. I'm out.